Are you brand new to oil-free cooking?
Well, you're in luck, because we are not. We've been doing it for a long time, so we're gonna show you all the different tips and tricks to oil-free cooking.
Let's go.
Hey everybody, this is Dylan.
And this is Reeves.
We eat a healthy, whole plant food diet free of added animal products and processed junk like salt, oil, and sugar. We do eat a little bit of salt, but not very much compared to a standard American diet.
But one thing we never cook with at home is oil, because it's really unhealthy.
Yes, there are a lot of reasons why you might eliminate oil from your diet if you haven't already. One, it is really calorie dense, which means you're not taking up any more space with that oil that you're eating, but you are adding a whole lot more calories. So it can be really challenging to control your weight if you're eating a diet that has a lot of processed oil.
If you want to see an entire video about the reasons we don't eat oil, check it out right here. But another reason for me is because it's disgusting to cook with. Once you eliminate oil, you realize how much time you spent scrubbing pots and pans, and it's awful.
It gets all over everything, and you've got to scrub it, and it is not that fun. You've got to make sure you're not putting it down the sink drain, because then it'll clog all your pipes.
But the other thing it clogs is your pipes.
Damn right.
Especially right here.
Yes, eating oil is terrible for your heart. A lot of people think oil is heart healthy, but that's only compared to if you ate 15 hamburgers a week. Then obviously a little bit of oil on some veggies would be a lot healthier than that. But good news, there's an even healthier version that is even better for your heart health, and that is to eliminate the oil and the processed fat altogether. If you take out the oil, you'll be promoting your health and not heart disease.
But if you've never cooked without oil, it can kind of be a learning curve. So today we're going to show you 5 different ways you can eliminate it, and it's really pretty simple. The first technique that we're going to go over is sautéing, which I think is the one that is the biggest learning curve for people, because they're so used to putting a little or a lot of oil into a pan to saute up their veggies. It's just not necessary. So I'm just going to have Dylan take you to the stove and show you how it's done.
Let's do this. Sautéing without oil is probably the one technique out of all these that is really notably a lot different. Your actual technique is different from the way that you might be used to. What you're probably used to, if you've never cooked this way before, you preheat your pan, you add some oil, and then you throw everything in and you're sautéing everything. It doesn't matter whether your pan is preheated. For me, I have an induction cooktop. It heats really fast. It doesn't matter that your pan is already searing hot. This is a stainless steel saucepan. This thing has lasted me at least 7 years, the whole set, and it looks like it's barely been used. But if it's not a non-stick pan, you're gonna need a little bit of assistance. So I like to just take a hot kettle. If you're using hot water from your kettle, then you're not gonna like cool it off every time you add a little bit of juice. So you take a little hot water, throw it on there, your pan's gonna steam off, and then just stir it in. It's almost like you're steaming them in a little bit of water. You can also use veggie stock, and now you just kind of wait. You let it sit for a minute, walk away, go back to chopping, do something else, and then you can kind of hear it start to dry out. So I'll add a little bit of water, stir it around, let it saute, it dries out, add a little more, and after 2 or 3 times of that, your veggies are usually done to the amount that you would want them done. And now is a good time to add a little bit of seasoning. You could sprinkle in some garlic and paprika, whatever you might be doing. And it's that simple. This is how I saute. And again, when I've added the spices, I'll just throw on a little bit more water and give it all a stir. I love wooden spoons for this. They're not so noisy like if you were doing metal on metal. Now, if you have a totally non-stick pan, you might not even have to add any water, because as these start to get going, they give off a little bit of water as well. And while you're at it, y'all, Reeves has made you a really awesome free PDF. You can click the link down below this video and download that. It's all about how to cook with no oil, everything we've talked about in this video, plus some reasons why not to cook with oil. So check that out, download it. Let's get back to it.
The next technique we're gonna go over is roasting. The buzzword we've been using lately is sheet pan meals.
I don't know what roasting technically means, but it's still just baking vegetables.
Think about the side dish of vegetables at Thanksgiving. That's just like everything's coated in oil.
So for that, you really just take a baking sheet like normal, and you put a piece of parchment paper down, and you throw your stuff on top, all seasoned up, marinated, whatever, and you just roast like that. Or, of course, Reeves, why don't you tell us about this?
Some people like to use this because it's reusable instead of parchment paper underneath. Honestly, we don't. We use the parchment paper.
This, you have to wash it and scrub it. If you're gonna roast with this, then things are gonna dry onto it, and then you've gotta clean it. I don't know how picky you are about cleaning. Maybe you don't bother getting it that clean, but for me, parchment is the way to go. I only go through like a roll of parchment in a year, so it's not like I'm contributing to the world's worst waste here.
People think that you need the oil to get spices to stick, and you don't. They just stick.
They do. do. They just stick on the veggies. If they're a little bit moist, the spices will stay on there. You can make a marinade that's wet with other things, not oil, and that'll stick. Some people like to toss their veggies in like a little bit of the juice from the chickpeas, the aquafaba they call it, and then it sticks to that.
Yeah, you can experiment with some balsamic vinegar, veggie stock, lemon juice, but you don't need anything at all, really.
There you go. Our third oil-free cooking technique for today is griddling.
Griddling?
Is that what we're gonna call it? Non-stick griddling. I love our electric non-stick griddle. If you buy yourself a non-stick griddle that you put on the stove or whatever, it's probably not gonna last very long. This electric non-stick griddle is made to last forever because it has the electricity in it. They're not going to make an electric device that you throw out every year like you do a frying pan. Right. Those non-stick frying pans are useless. They work for like a week and you're like, wow, I can't believe this technology exists. It doesn't. It just deletes itself in like a month and then it sucks. So just get a really cheap, they're like $30, $40, a non-stick electric griddle, and then you use a plastic spatula on it. Don't use metal because you want that surface to stay really nice and non-sticky. Our banana pancake mix is one of my favorite things to make on it. Yeah. We were just making chickpea omelets. We love making hash browns and things like that.
Veggie burgers.
Have all that space, any kind of veggie burger, dry griddling, flipping, things like that.
I think that the griddle is the best flipping appliance that there is.
That's definitely what I'm saying.
One category that oil can sneak into a lot, especially if you're buying it in the store, is sauces.
That's why we sell a whole lineup of oil-free salad dressings and sauces. Our Italian salad dressing, you would not believe that it is oil-free. Italian salad dressing, generally speaking, is full of oil. It's like half oil. In fact, all salad dressings are full of fat. People are like, oh, you gotta eat fat with your greens or you don't absorb. Listen, you don't need to worry about all of these little nuances and tricks and things that you think you're doing to improve your nutrition and your health. All you need to do is eat real food and your body will take care of the rest. And the nice thing about sauces is you don't have to buy ours in the bottle. You can just make your own without oil. If you have a Vitamix blender, it's really fast and easy to make your own simple sauces, and you can fatten them with whole foods instead of oil, like cashews.
Or if you're trying to do lower fat, you can always use beans or steamed cauliflower.
Right, people just think if they eat the greens, that's what's missing. No, a healthy diet is about what you take out of it, not what you put in. Cooking technique number 5, when a lot of people switch to this diet, they miss some of the crunchy things. They say, oh, how do I get my French fry? They're like not really looking for crunch, they're looking for fat. They're looking for that old fat crunch. Well, the good news is you can do these things without oil.
Potatoes get extra crunchy when you do the twice bake method, and it's not like a twice baked potato, but you cook it the night before, you refrigerate it, and then you cut them into wedges the next day, and then you air fry them. If you don't have an air fryer, it's fine. You can bake them and they'll still get crispy.
Yes, that's one excellent method of recreating fries. Making chips out of tortillas, you can just put your tortillas on the rack, bake them until they're crispy, boom, you're done.
As far as baking's concerned, we don't actually do like a lot of baking, but there's so many substitutions you can use for oil, like applesauce, bananas, soy milk. But chances are, if you can think of the name of the recipe, if we haven't already made it, Google an oil-free version.
Everything has been baked oil-free. Once you've done it once, you pretty much know how to do it and you can play around with it. So you just need a guide for that first try, and then the sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit, Dill.
So those are probably the 5 most important cooking techniques that you'll be using on your healthy whole plant food diet without the added oil. Everything's gonna feel better if you focus on real food ingredients instead of all the processed junk.
And if you ever have a question about something, join our Facebook group, join our live cooking show. That's where everyone bounces ideas off of each other.
And if you really don't want to go to the trouble of doing it, then just buy our sauces. Go to wellyourworld.com, check out our whole lineup of healthy oil-free sauces. The reason we make them is to save time.
Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.